the special balance is established for oxygen. A. The human brain was created with a need for glucose and oxygen. For example, an adult human can last for about 4 minutes without oxygen, and a newborn baby for a maximum of 10 minutes. In order for the brain to have a sufficient and constant supply of oxygen, 3 different structures in the human body work in an interconnected way. B. The oxygen in the air we breathe is carried into the body through the nostrils, windpipe, and lungs. In the lungs, the oxygen passes from the air into the bloodstream and is attached to the hemoglobin in the red blood cells in blood. These red blood cells that transport the oxygen in the blood are manufactured in the bone marrow. Oxygen-rich blood is distributed via the cardiovascular system throughout the body. By that means, oxygen is just carried from one organ to another in a flawless manner, and the system is repeated without stop every time you breathe. C. As you hear and reflect on these words, and while you sit looking at the screen, all these things are happening with no intervention on your part. Almighty Allah is He who encompasses all things. This truth is revealed in a verse. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. My Lord encompasses all things in His knowledge, so will you not pay heed? Surat Al-An'am 80. D. One important factor in the transportation of oxygen is the effective pressure set up by gases. Because the exchange of gases in the air sacs in the lungs, known as alveoli, takes place as a result of that effect. In order for all the cells in our bodies to be able to receive sufficient oxygen, in particular the brain cells, the lungs, blood, and heart work together in amazing harmony. Oxygen and aging. Almost all the electrons in the human body exist in the form of electron pairs. When a bond breaks, the electrons either stay together, in other words, they bond to an atom together, or else they split up, one joining one atom and the other another. If they remain together, the resulting atom is a single ion, and if they split, they form free radicals. These unpaired electrons are full of energy, and they separate paired electrons and prevent their functions. This is why free radicals are very dangerous for us. Free radicals are harmful, but they're also necessary for life. They establish the basis for electron transfer, energy production, and many other metabolic processes. But if the chain reactions they cause behave in an uncontrolled manner, they then bring about damages in the cell. Scientists have known since 1945 that free radicals are responsible for aging and many diseases. We experience free radicals either through attacks that take place from time to time from the outside, or else from their emerging as the result of activities in our bodies, like the free radicals that appear whenever we eat food. These molecules enter the cell nucleus and damage the information in the DNA, impair the protective cell wall, and attack vitally important proteins. That damage increases and becomes more effective in old age. Finally, there comes diseases and cell death. We breathe some 23,040 times a day. Oxygen on the one hand makes life possible, while on the other hand, it is the most significant factor that damages our bodies since it brings free radicals into them. We take a step closer to death with every breath we take. There is no escape from death, wherever we may be. This is an inevitable fact within the order created by Allah. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. Wherever you are, death will catch up with you, even if you are in an impregnable fortress. If a good thing happens to them, they say, "This has come from Allah." But if a bad thing happens to them, they say, "This has come from you." Say, everything comes from Allah. What is the matter with these people that they scarcely understand a single word? Surat An-Nisa 78. The oxygen that enters our bodies as we breathe causes the release of harmful substances that have lost electrons, known as free radicals. Free radicals combine with any tissue they encounter and cause them to be non-functional. This effect begins around the age of 30, progresses during the 40s, and reaches a high level as of the 50s, resulting in perceptible aging and many diseases. Free radicals are thought to be the main cause of tissue damage, arteriosclerosis, and coronary diseases. Raised cholesterol and blood cells, broken down under the effect of free radicals, damage the arteries by sticking to the arterial walls. This causes all vessels to stiffen. In more advanced stages, the blood and oxygen reaching the heart and brain are reduced. Tissues deprived of oxygen create a much higher risk of heart attack. At the same time, free radicals also have an effect on the DNA, which carries the cell's genetic code and permits production in the cell and its growth. Cells may die when their genetic information changes because they cannot permanently read the message from the main cell. Excessive cell death leads to premature aging, and, on the other hand, cells change and form groups of cells that support cancer and similar diseases. The energy production centers in the cell are also damaged by free radical attacks. This causes energy generation and protein synthesis to stop. The cell survives solely as a remnant and slowly dies.